All right, and we're live. Happy Saturday, everyone. If you're catching me live right now, and maybe not, maybe on the replay, or maybe if you're in Australia with my friends in Australia, it's Sunday already. But I'm doing a special Saturday live. I don't know if I've ever done a Saturday live before, Summer, if it hasn't been like, I don't know, a grand opening or something like that. So thanks for being my first Saturday live.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. So I'm going to ask you to formally introduce yourself in just a moment, if that's okay. But what I'm going to do right now is anyone hopping on live, I can see one person already. I know it takes Facebook a moment to let everyone know that you're live. But I always like to say, if you're here live, let me know. I just send out some extra love to you, or on the replay as well. You could comment below if you'd like. Emojis are great. So what we're talking about today is I feel like it's my life's work, right? It's this evolution of who I am becoming, and then being able to guide my clients through as well. And so I titled this live, I don't even know if I told you, Summer, but I titled it based on the notes that I took in our first session. So I titled it, and I can't see it all the way now because StreamYard is hiding it. But it says something along the lines of, my client went from feeling intense anxiety and feelings of inadequacy to becoming excited about life in literally one session, one 90-minute session, right? And so it feels like that's and it's a huge kind of scale to go from, right? So we rate it, we use a SUD scale because emotions they're tangible, but they're really hard to kind of put a focal point or put like a number to them. So I just asked you at the beginning of the session, and you listed, or you said that it was feelings of inadequacy, intense anxiety around feeling sadness. And on a scale from 1 to 10, where 10 is like, it couldn't be any worse, it was a 10. And then through EFT, through different modalities that I teach in that session, you move down to what I would call a null point, down to 0. And then my specialty is the manifestation, like, well, what do we want now, right? Like the healing is appropriate sometimes, right? Sometimes. But you were able to move through it so quickly that we were able to go into the manifestation in that first session. And that's pretty typical. It's pretty common also. It's just the way that our brains work. And the only thing you really need is the willingness to do it. And so that's what you did. And we moved into you feeling really excited about life, right? And we did a couple different techniques that I teach that helps the brain to create new neural pathways. And by doing that, you moved from a 0, that null point of no longer feeling anxiety or sadness, into literally being excited about your life in 90 minutes, which is pretty incredible. For anyone like that's listening to us right now, they might be like, what kind of right? What kind of trick is this? But it's pretty typical in the way that I teach and the modalities that I teach and the results that my clients get. And the number one thing that makes this all possible, that to get the kind of results that you got, was just the willingness, right? Just the I've been through enough in my life. And here I am willing to show up and to do this for me. So with that, Summer, can I kick it off to you and just like maybe formally, informally introduce yourself to everyone and just let everyone know kind of who you are.
So my name is Summer Crowder, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. I hang out with my kids. I also started a sticker business, so that's super fun and exciting to get to be creative, and especially before I met Chantel, I just told myself, like, you can't do it. You just can't. And now I'm just like, what can't I do? I just know that as long as I know that I can do it, I believe in myself, like, I'm going to do whatever it is. And so I really went from having 100% anxiety all the time to now I don't feel it anymore. I was afraid to go to the store. And part of it really started during the pandemic, like why I stayed home for so long and did the online ordering for so long. And then once things started to kind of open back up where you could feel more safe to go to the store, I felt myself afraid to go because I was afraid of what people were going to say to me, what mean things they were going to say to me. And just 90 minutes of talking to you, I go to the store all the time now. Like, I would, if I had to go to the store, I would go like at 6 o'clock in the morning when they first open because there's nobody there. And now, like, it doesn't matter if I have to go at 5 o'clock when it's like the busiest. I'm just like, okay, like, that's cool. Let's just go. And so I really like 100% change, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty like, and I just keep thinking right now, because how long have we known each other now? Less than a month.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely less than a month, maybe 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Um,
no doubt.
so I'm like, I'm feeling into the energy of people listening in right now, and especially on the replay, that are kind of going like, how could someone go from, I'm looking at the notes here actually that I took from our first session. And it's exactly what you said. Such anxiety that just builds and builds and builds, that at some point you get to the like, I can't leave my house. I'm afraid to go grocery shopping. I'm afraid to do these things. And I have these voices telling me like, you're never going to do it. Right. And like the do it, I know what you're referring to is like creating your sticker business, creating your online business. And so it feels like this snowball almost, and you're not really sure where it started or how it started. But eventually these feelings become so big that you're no longer leaving your house. Um, but it really is so possible, right? That in, like you said, 90 minutes, we were able to, and by we, I mean, I was able to help guide you, but you did the work into realizing the irrational fears that were going on. And I can feel it like as you're talking about it, right? You have some of those emotions that are still coming up around
Mm-hmm.
it, but it really feels like you're moving through it. You have moved through it, right? That emotion you have up around it is like this feeling of gratitude and really pride in yourself that you have moved through it.
Yes, and I do sometimes feel the emotion of it, and what caused me to get there sometimes. But now I know I have the tools now, thanks to you, that I also know how to put that aside and evaluate, like, why am I feeling that way? And then just kind of really moving past it. And I mean, still things now, so I have to tell you an example of something that I just kind of stopped myself. I was so proud of myself because you did this for me. Um, so I have a daughter who has some learning disabilities. She has dyspraxia and she has a speech delay. And so I am very like mama bear about her, and anything anybody says about her, I just I go into protective mode. Like, what are you trying? You're trying to hurt my child. And so on Tuesday, they were doing story time, and the week before they were asked to draw a picture of Earth Day, and I hadn't listened to the meeting, so I didn't know. And so her teacher asked, Sonia, where is your picture? And she's like, well, I don't have it. And she's like, oh, you're supposed to do this. And so me automatically, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so angry. She should have told me that this was due. Like, she knows this is something that she can't do by herself. And I went down to vent to my husband, and he was busy. And so then I stopped myself and I was like, this is your ego. Your ego is telling you that you think that she's telling you that you're a bad mom. And
Yes.
because Sonia didn't do this, you're a bad mom. And she didn't say that at all. She doesn't, like, she's a kindergartner. She forgot. Like, it's whatever. And so just being able to take that tool and stop myself and be like, no, like, you don't need to be upset with the teacher. Like, now you just know you need to pay better attention. And I was able to move past that, and it didn't ruin my entire day.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many lessons in there, right? Because it's yeah, like I said before, it's so simple to kind of fall into these habits. Because the way that the brain works is it just continues to look for the same patterns. The greatest gift that the brain has for us is to look for patterns. It keeps us alive. That's its job. And so the brain is consistently looking for the same reasons why X, Y, and Z. And so your brain had just been wired in that direction. But in the session that we did together, we were able to create enough new network pathways in the brain that you were able to stop and realize what was really going on and not go be spiraled into the same old, right?
Mm-hmm.
This comment up right here that Rosalie said. She said, important to feel afraid and do it anyway to overcome anxiety. Absolutely. Now here's the kicker. But how? Right? Like it, and I know Rosalie, and she's an incredible human, so she knows how to move through this for herself as well. But for so many people that are listening right now, and on the replay, to go, well, yeah, I know that it's important. I know that if in order for me to overcome anxiety, I do need to do something I've never done before. Like I'm going to have some anxiety around it. I'm going to have some confusion around it if that's been my status quo. But how do I just decide to just do it, right? When fear or anxiety or this self-perfectionist, right? I know that's what you said in our first conversation, is you had to get it right every single time. And so, but how, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
clearing for so many people is like, but then how? And that's what I teach, right? Many of my clients, you know that you needed to move through it. You knew that you needed to like show up for yourself, but then how, right? And so I think that maybe I'm going to ask you that. Like, I remember our first conversation. You were you're wanting to go for it. You're wanting to sign up with me, but you were super nervous, cautious, right? Because you had tried other things
Yep.
and nothing had worked before. And so I was asking you to commit to, uh, you know, a large monetary amount, but also a large investment in what I'm going to ask you to do. It doesn't take a lot of time, but the ability to just the willingness to stop and pause and catch yourself, just like you did.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's talk about that for a moment. Like maybe if you could talk about that first conversation that we had, right? And you feeling like, oh my gosh, is this going to work? Like what kind of objections did you have when we first had that conversation?
I was really scared because I had tried a lot of things. I had gone to therapists. I am on medication that's supposed to help me. I did listen to podcasts. I got self-help books. I got like cognitive therapy books. I anything that somebody told me like this could help you, like I would be like, okay, I want to try this. And then somebody else who goes through you, who I'm friends with, she had mentioned several times the things that you'd done. And so when the opportunity came up to do Mastering the Brain Game with you, and I saw her post about it, I was like, you want to know what? Like, this is actually somebody telling me to do something, and she says that it works. And so, as long as I go into this with open mind that this is going to work, like, I literally had no idea what you did. No idea. I reached out to you with, like, zero idea. I just knew that, like, you had talked to Stephanie. Sorry, Steph. And just all the stuff that you had done for her. And I was like, yep, like I'm gonna go into this, and I just had a very good feeling. Like it was scary. Like money, honestly, was a very big like. I took a deep breath because I used to get a lot of anxiety about money, and I just thought about, I've spent all this money on this other crap that didn't even work, and I could end up back into an inpatient hospital, which would be a lot more money. And so I just had to let go of the anxiety of how much money it was and just remember that it's just energy. and that I had such a good gut feeling about it that that's what I need to go with. I needed to stop being afraid. And like the same thing with my sticker business, I was afraid to do it. I wanted to start doing this in January and I was too afraid. And I still, like, there's sometimes I'm afraid because totally confused with what I'm doing since I'm new, but I don't let that stop me anymore. Like, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to feel those types of things, but you just have to know that you can do this and you have to believe in yourself. Like, that's a big thing.
Yeah, and I think this is why, I asked you to do this live with me also, because you signed up for Mastering the Brain Game and we haven't even started, right? We start on May 3rd, next Tuesday. And so you signed up for royalty code with me, which means that's why we started with that first private session. And that 90-minute session was able to propel you into being really ready to go into Mastering the Brain Game. So I'm going to put this up right now. This is like another banner here that I created. For anyone that's like listening in, a friend of Summer's, or just like listening in, you could send me a PM. I'm going to add a link here at the bottom that you could click on and fill out the application in order to join us on 5/3 on next Tuesday when we go through Mastering the Brain Game. Because there's several ways to work with me. And like you said, you didn't even know what I did, but you trusted Stephanie, right? And Steph openly has done several posts about her work with me and how much she's been able to create. And so that's how you found me. And that's why I asked you to do this live as well, Summer, is that us talking about this right now, you're really helping to speak this into the universe, really stake your claim as to who you are now, right? And really truly leave the past behind you. And so, like you mentioned, inpatient hospitals, therapists, etc. I have a lot of clients that come to me that have not been through such trauma that you have been, but to be able to heal in 90 minutes, and it was actually a little under that, is completely possible. We've been programmed that it's going to take years of therapy and it's going to take years of, and it doesn't have to. It really doesn't, right? And so, yeah, I think that just speaks into like, you decided to trust you ultimately and go for it, even though there was an investment, because you trusted Stephanie. And I feel like there's going to be so many people right now that are listening to you and your story and are thinking, well, like, if Summer can do it, I can do it. Right?
I guess.
Yeah. There was something else in there that you were saying, and then like it's eluding me right now as well, but I'll come back to it. Yeah, I love that. I'm just looking at this comment. I'm going to put it up here right now. From Rosalie, also love that money is energy and investing in yourself is important. Yeah, money is energy. There's a specific frequency to money. And money wants to move through people who have there's a specific frequency of vibration that we put off as humans that money is attracted to. And so when we are trusting within ourselves in specific ways, money flows to and through us. It just is literal currency. And so I love that, like you shared, you wanted to start the sticker business in January. And then these are all the byproducts, right? Of like, we had our first session together, and then I think it was like 3 or 4 days later, you messaged and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, like this thing that I've been wanting to do since January, I started it. I just did it. Right.
Yeah.
It's like that snowball effect of all these byproducts they seem so unrelated, but they're 100% related.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We met on Monday, and on Thursday I started my sticker business. And I mean, just everything about my life really has seemed to change. Like, my husband tells me that he can feel the change in like my attitude and just how I am now. Like, he's like, now I'm worried that you're gonna think that I'm not good enough. I'm like, whatever. But just people around me noticing the shift, and I love it. Like, I love just waking up every day and being happy and not feeling overwhelmed or sad or anything like that.
you haven't shared with me about your husband that he felt that way, but I will share that that is very common because the partners of the clients that I work with feel a difference in their partners instantly. They can feel the shift, they can feel the confidence. And so it can cause them to feel a little wavering about themselves, right? Like, oh, I don't know who this person is now. Like she's very empowered. And not really like knowing how to navigate the situation. And so I will say for the partners that are willing to meet one another, it becomes this beautiful relationship. It's like conscious coupling. There's actually a term for it. And so it's interesting because clients will start, right? And their partners are either, and I know your husband was very supportive with you going into this, but they'll say something like, you're going to spend how much? You're going to spend how much time, right? It's not much time, but like, how do you put a price on decades of therapy and trying to move past some traumas that were very real for you and move into this excitement about life? How do you put a price on that? And so I don't know. I love that you shared that about your husband because what happens is then the next time I teach again, the partners are coming through the program, right? And this
Yeah.
relationship becomes, and I'll be very honest, either the relationship becomes together, you move towards one another and you decide you're doing this together. And that very much feels like what your husband is doing here with you as well. Or you realize that the relationship wasn't really built on anything foundational anyways. And you deciding to evolve, you deciding to literally raise your own vibration, uh, you just continue to evolve, you continue to grow, you continue to choose you. And sometimes that does mean ending in relationships, right? But the clients that I work with, they're choosing them over and over and over again. So yeah, I know there's a rabbit trail that I went down that you mentioned there about your husband. But I feel like it's an important one to mention because it does come up quite a bit. Yeah. So let me ask you, what's possible for you now since that one session? Imagine like as we continue, but what's possible for you now?
Well, honestly, like, I feel like anything is possible. Like, I know I'm gonna have to put the work into it. Like, it's not just gonna fall into my lap. Like, I'm gonna have to go out and put that energy out into the universe that this is what I'm gonna do. But I can do anything. I There isn't anything that I can't do.
Yeah. Oh, like I got chills. It's in the one session that we've had together, it was a lot of healing, right? Healing
Mhm.
that decades of trauma. And moving into the manifestation of you really being excited about life. And that's why, starting your business within 48, 72 hours of our first session. And then when we go through mastering the brain game, what you're going to discover is that you really don't do the action, that the hustle, the grind that we've been programmed to believe that we have to do is really less than 20% of it. But who you be, how you like, I think that this is so important for many people to really understand and to grasp that are just watching this again on the replay or right here live with us, is that many people know they need to be the vibe.
Mhm.
They know that they, in order to attract, it's the law of attraction, right? There's several universal laws, but the law of attraction is the one that most people are familiar with. So they know that in order to attract what they really desire in life, that they need to raise their frequency, they need to be the vibration, they need to think the thoughts, they need to feel the feelings. But what you're going to learn in mastering the brain game is how to do those things. Because when you're just continuously chasing the dangling carrot, you're going to be continuously chasing the dangling carrot and never being satisfied in life. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm really excited for you as we continue to move and work together. And specifically when we start mastering the brain game here as well. So, okay, I think I got one more question for you. You ready?
Yep.
Who should who should sign up and join us? Who should work with me?
Whoever is ready for the change. Like, if you are not going to even try and be open-minded about it, like, you're not gonna get anything out of it because you're going into it with such a closed mind. But if you even have just a little bit of an open mind that, like, you're ready for a change and you're ready to just feel like happiness all the time, I'm not even kidding. Like, I had such bad anxiety. Like, that's how my sister described me to everybody was, she is the worst to go anywhere with because she just has such bad anxiety about everything. And now I'm just so excited about everything about life and I'm not afraid to go anywhere and I don't have that anxiety. So, like, if you're ready to make a change in your life and be happy and just be the very best you that you can be, like, then you need to reach out to Chantel.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think that so sums it up, right? And I know that's what really attracted you to the post that Stephanie did, talking about mastering the brain game, because she said if you're not willing to show up for yourself, well, I think what she said was, if I could gift this to all of my friends and family, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not willing to do this for yourself, it's not going to work. And so many people that are wanting a change in their life, they're wanting to feel excited about their life, they're wanting to drop the overwhelm and the frustration and anxiety, but they are doing it in a way that, like you said, almost goes into it wanting to prove that it won't work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you need to drop, right? That it feels like that's what you're saying is,
Yes.
if you just have, so if you just have the willingness, like, I'm willing to try. Yeah. Cause I'm very out of the box the way that I teach, but
Mm-hmm.
that's how in 90 minutes we can rid decades worth of other modalities that you've tried. Yeah. Alrighty, my friend. You're incredible. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. This was super amazing. And I'm looking forward to having more people join us.
Yes, absolutely. So I know I've had this banner up here at the bottom for a while now. If you're interested in joining us, we start next Tuesday really quick. So you'd want to get a hold of me before next Tuesday because we literally start then. So I can give you all the deets and have you set up and be ready to go. But this is a virtual course that I teach. And I teach it succinctly. So in 1 hour a week, we meet together on Zoom. And I give you what I call soul work. It's not going to take any more time out of your day. What it's going to do is awaken you to what you're already doing, these patterns that you're creating for yourself that is getting you the same damn results over and over and over again that you no longer want, you no longer desire. So yeah, if you're someone who, like Summer said, is ready to take your life to the next level and really break free of the chains that is holding you back, then I'd invite you to click the link that I'll drop below. You could also just send me a PM. You don't need to click the link and go through all that. It's up to you, but two different ways. And yeah, we'll get started on 5-3. So I'm going to show this one more time. I don't know if I said it out loud, but that rated a 10, of feeling intense anxiety and inadequacy, right? And one of the things that you said on that call, the first call that we had together, which, super side note here, I'm just going to say this out loud. Summer has given me full permission to talk about everything openly. I never share anything. Everything that I do with my clients is 100% confidential, unless you tell me, like, yeah, put my story out there. Let me like get more, be able to help more people. And so I just want to say that here. I think it's important to really acknowledge and recognize, because I do work with a lot of clients that are never seen on Facebook, never seen on Instagram, never seen on my YouTube. And they're just super private. And I completely honor that as well. I meet all of my clients where they're at and we go from there, right? So some people will never have their story public, and that's okay too. So, but then let me go back to like the middle of my sentence. I love rabbit trails, but feeling intense anxiety and inadequacy, to then completely ridding that, going to a 0, which is incredible in and of itself to be able to drop that, and then moving to a 10 about being excited about life. And I think it will be 2 weeks tomorrow or 2 weeks on Monday since we had that session. And so it's not like, if you leave a therapy session, you're feeling like, okay, I got this, right? I got life. I got this. It literally, because of the way that the brain works and because of the work that we do together, it gets better and better and better and better. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I I just think you're honestly the best. Like, I didn't get a lot out of therapy. I felt better afterwards because I cried and I got that cry out, but
Yeah.
like, they didn't do anything near what Chantel did for me.
That's so sweet. Yeah. Well, I'm the guide and you did the work. Like you said, you were willing to show up and do it. So yeah, I think there's so many people out there that are reading the self-help books and doing, the weekend retreats and the gurus and stuff like that. and it's not working for them. And so that's what we're speaking into here, right?
Yes.
Alrighty. Any final words?
No, just really, please just believe in yourself. Like, you can do it. I promise, even if you're scared, like, you can do it. It's worth it.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's like just being the fear of even hitting the link on the comment box, right? Or just sending me a PM. Um,
Mhm.
Sometimes it can even be like, I don't know what to say. How do I PM her, right?
Yeah.
Just send a PM and say, hey, hi, Summer, right?
Yeah.
Whatever it might be, and I'll reach back out. So yeah, spread this awareness, and the ability to move through what you've been able to move through with others is incredible. So thank you for sharing your stories, Summer. I'm sure that like there'll be even more of these lives as we continue to work together.
Yes, I would love it.
All right, everyone, have an amazing Saturday or the rest of the weekend. I'll drop the link down below. So again, yeah, someone who, if you're out there and you're wanting to completely drop the anxiety and the overwhelm and the frustration and the confusion about life, and really move forward, right? Just have a pivot in perception and be able to be the creator of your life versus the continuous life happening to you, and really step into creation mode, then yeah, I'd invite you to join us. And I would invite you to join us. I think I said enjoy us, but enjoy us too.
Yeah,
All
we're pretty
right.
awesome.
All right. Thank you, Summer, again.
Thank you.